All right, today we're going to do something pretty cool. We're peeling back the curtain on the WickFury ORB Algo. Now, if you're in the trading world, you've probably heard the buzz around this thing. We're going to break down exactly what makes it tick, from the human strategy it's based on, all the way to the core logic that's driving its decisions.
And look, this isn't just us guessing. The creator himself promised to crack open the vault on this one. And you know, it's not every day you get a peek inside the so-called black box of a trading algo. So let's dive in and see what's really going on.
So here's the game plan for today. First, we'll set the stage by cracking the vault. Then, we'll get into the human strategy behind it all. After that, we'll see how an algorithm takes over, we'll unveil the actual code, and then wrap it all up with the big takeaway for you as a trader.
Okay, first up, let's crack this vault open. The whole point here is to demystify this tool, right? To really get what it promises to do for traders.
You know, every single trader is constantly looking for that edge. In automation, it promises speed, it promises precision, but all that power is totally useless if you don't have a solid game plan. So before we can even begin to understand the algorithm, we first have to understand the human strategy it was built to copy. And that brings us right to the human element. See, this whole fancy algorithm is built on one simple foundational idea, the opening range strategy.
So what in the world is an opening range breakout, or ORB? Well, it's a classic day trading strategy. The basic idea is that the first 30 to 60 minutes of trading kind of sets the tone for the entire day. So traders are just watching and waiting for the price to make a big, decisive move, what they call a breakout, either above or below that initial range.
So just imagine for a second you're doing this by hand. The opening bell rings, and right away, you're marking the highest high and the lowest low. Then, you place your buy and sell orders just a little bit outside that zone, and you wait. You're just waiting for the price to make its move. The second a breakout hits your order, bam! You're in the trade, and your entire focus just shifts to managing it.
So, this brings us to the next logical step, right? How do you decode the ORB algo? How do you take that manual, hands-on process we just walked through and turn it into a completely automated engine?
But that makes you wonder, if the steps are really that simple, why not just do it yourself? What's so hard about it? What makes it so difficult for a person to execute this strategy perfectly every single time?
And this, right here, is the fundamental difference. When you're trading manually, you're limited by human reaction time. An algorithm is basically instant. You get influenced by fear and greed. An algorithm is 100% objective. And maybe most important of all, your discipline can slip, but an algorithm, its consistency is absolutely flawless.
So here's the whole point. The entire purpose of the ORB algo is to take that human element with all our potential for mistakes and emotion and just take it right out of the equation. It's designed to be the perfect, disciplined trader that follows the plan without ever messing up.
And now, the moment you've been waiting for. Let's unveil the code. We are finally going to look at the secret logic that makes this whole thing work.
Okay, so after all this talk about machine-like speed and perfect discipline, what are the actual instructions? What's literally hard-coded into this thing?
And you know, you might be expecting some crazy complex mathematical formula, but it turns out the logic is actually dead simple. It's just a clear set of rules. The algorithm defines the trading range for the first 30 minutes, and then it follows two simple commands. If the price breaks above that high, then buy. If the price breaks below that low, then sell. And this is crucial. It also manages the trade for you, setting the profit targets and stop losses right from the very start.
Okay, so we've cracked the code, we've seen what's inside, but what's the real takeaway here? What does all this actually mean for you as a trader?
You know, the biggest lesson here isn't really about this one specific algorithm. It's about the principle behind it. The real power of automation is its ability to enforce discipline. It can take a solid strategy and make sure it gets executed systematically, over and over, without any of that emotional baggage getting in the way.
And that really leaves us with one last thought. When you think about your own trading, your own strengths, and yeah, your weaknesses, the question isn't whether an algorithm is good or bad. The real question is, could a perfectly disciplined, totally unemotional partner that executes a plan flawlessly, could that be something that would actually complement your own approach to the markets? Definitely something to think about.